And welcome back to the show. Well, a new Quinnipiac poll out yesterday shows that Hillary Clinton is taking a hit in the polls in 3 key swing states, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Out of the 1,000 voters surveyed, the former Secretary of State's favorability rating is 49% in Florida, 48% in Pennsylvania, 51% in the great state of Ohio. When compared to top GOP contenders, Mrs. Clinton's lead is close, but not by much in 2 key swing states. As you can see, Mr. Bush, Jeb, is beating Hillary Clinton in his home state, where he was once governor, 45 to 42%, and Rand Paul beating Hillary in Pennsylvania, 45 to 44. Some interesting numbers there, no question about it. By the way, the Ohio poll, can we show Ohio? Do we have that on screen, everybody? Clinton leads all Republicans by at least a 5-point margin there. Then again, John Kasich wasn't included in that poll. But here's another interesting question asked in the same poll. Is Hillary trustworthy? Florida, at the Villages, they're not thinking that's happening at all. That's half, 9% margin. Pennsylvania, same thing, 5% margin. Ohio, it's basically split. I'd love to meet those 46% of those people who think she actually is trustworthy. I mean, we got to go bowling sometime. Anyway, I shouldn't editorialize. I'm the host. Anyway, obviously, the email scandal has affected voters' opinions somewhat. But what does all this mean for 2016? Trust is not a 4-letter word. It's very important. So, everybody, these poll numbers mean anything to you?
I don't think it means anything in terms of her presidential hopes. I think, and again, we're more than a year away from the general election. So, yes, what it shows is that people are paying attention to what's been happening in terms of the email and the foreign donations to the Clinton Foundation, which is why you're seeing people saying that they don't trust her. But will that have an effect? No, because really, who else is out there in terms of the Democrats?
Interesting with Bill Clinton's presidency towards the end. Obviously, he had a big trust problem as well. Definition of is, he obviously lied, he was impeached, and his poll numbers by the time he left were nearly 70%. Right. So I wonder if trust really is as important as we're giving it credit for.
I think arrogance, somebody who used to work for Romney was quoted today in one of the papers as saying, arrogance and hypocrisy are what voters cannot stand. And I think that the way that she has handled the questions about these issues has been arrogant. And it has, and the way that she handled the emails is hypocritical. So I think that those issues together, one of the emails that has been outed, and many, many more are coming, has her talking about a drone attack in Pakistan, and then she's asking Huma Abedin, her assistant, about decorating her home. And I think that when people start seeing these emails...
Whoa. But before you go on, was it to make the home drone-proof?
No.
We need to consider this.
So clearly there's mingling of personal and professional, which is one of the things that she said didn't happen. And then there's also this sense that she's, thinking about decorating when she's talking about drone attacks. I think that when we start seeing more and more of these emails, we've always had this discussion, and Rick has said it makes no difference, and you've said enough shavings make a pile. If each email can consist of a shaving, you're going to have a big pile of hypocrisy.
But those emails, didn't she decide what we were seeing anyway?
But even with that, Joe, I mean, she decided on these, and we've only seen 4. And of the 4, 2 of them have things that if I were on the other side, you could spin it.
I have in my inbox, and I've had my Yahoo account since I was 2001, I know of 7 emails that no one's ever going to see. Ever. Including you.
You better wipe that server.
Particularly you.
You better wipe that server.
Guys, big picture here. Think about this. This woman has been at the center of a non-stop media bashing. We've talked about this every night for how many weeks?
That's not true. There was 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday we
skipped it. Okay.
Why is she being bashed?
Wait a minute. And that's not my point. My point is that she's still sitting there at 50%. How many politicians, guys? It's not just in her own party. They're not asking, who would you vote for as the Democratic nominee? They're putting her up against these other candidates. She is still hanging at around 50%. I promise you, the Republicans are looking at those polls and going, oy vey.
They figured she'd take more of a hit.
Of course, I figured she'd take a bigger hit.
I think she's been in the public eye for 23 years, right? Since 1992, let's call it. So you have an opinion of her. It's so hard to change. Oh, I didn't know that she can't be trustworthy with those emails. You either liked her or you hated her.
You know what's going to be interesting, and it's been reported twice today. Once on page 6, that Monica Lewinsky may be the new co-host of The View. Now, if that is the case, it could have an effect for the millennials about how they feel about Hillary.
That's why it's not going to happen.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, but that it would be just too politically
gonna
right.
happen.
But wouldn't
What,
that
Monica's
be
not going to happen
interesting?
on The View?
No.
Because the politics are
You think-
such that.
and I'll
wouldn't-
tell you what, if it does happen, I never want to hear anybody ever again accuse ABC of being a liberal.
That's right.
You know,
That's
right.
But
No,
you're
no,
the one
you're
when you said it, well, it's not going to
know?
happen.
Wandered in my jurisdiction, and you're both completely and totally wrong. All
But
right?
it is going to happen.
What, no, I'm saying that, no, the motivation, right? Ideology will go out the window
I
as far as
understand.
ABC.
The motivation
it is
is
business.
something else.
That show is
And
on.
they
I
will
get
get
it.
ratings if Monica
no,
Lewinsky
But
is
you
on. I
certainly
mean, that
can't
will.
say that they're a liberal mouthpiece if they put Monica Lewinsky on a year before the
You
election.
got me in the middle of my defibrillator analogy, all right? It needs Monica because the producers there are so stupid. They think that people are going to tune in like she has a coherent thought in her head,
No,
right?
I think she does.
I'm sure. Well, every day she's never done TV in her life. Ridiculous. Anyway, Potluck is next. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.